Greetings, people of the interwebs. So, as a lot of you are probably aware, the second trailer for Wonder Woman just dropped earlier today. I think only about an hour ago, or at least an hour ago at the time of this recording. So, needless to say, I watched it several times, and I gotta say, this trailer did not disappoint, which is fantastic because I have such high hopes for this movie. That first trailer just killed it. By far my favorite trailer that came out of Comic-Con. The movie looks amazing, but I was still a little skeptical because, DC hasn't had the best track record. But I think this trailer, not only was this a good trailer, but I love the very beginning of it where you just have that overview of the ocean from Themyscira. You have Diana just kind of looking over at the sea, and that's when you see Steve Trevor's plane crash. And that kind of voiceover where she's kind of, I don't know, like, you get a good sense of, like, why she's willing to join Steve Trevor and help him in the efforts of the war. Because, they could have easily done, and, who knows, could easily change in the movie. But judging from the trailer, it seems like it's very true to the Wonder Woman character, where she has such a deep love and compassion for people and, the earth and all living things, that, in her perspective, the whole reason she's joining this fight is, again, to end all wars. And so that way, the world can finally be at peace. And also, from some of the scenes we see of the soldiers invading Themyscira and the Themyscirans fighting the soldiers, imagine she experiences her fair share of, death of friends and people who are close to her, and also the fact that this is the first time, presumably, that Themyscira has been invaded by a foreign force, which again I think is more motivation for her to want to repel this evil in the world. So I think this trailer does a fantastic job in really giving the perspective on why she's doing this. When they could have easily just been like, well, she's the hero, that's why she's going to fight evil. And I'm really glad they're not doing that. They're not just, having her try to, stop World War I because she's the hero and that's what they do. I think this is going to give her more layers and depth as to, further on as the movie progresses, and also her character throughout the DC Cinematic Universe. And also some amazing action sequences in these trailers. In particular, this one. I think this trailer in particular showed some of the great action sequences we're going to see in the movie. Which not only do they look amazing, they look really well choreographed too, which is another big thing for me in action sequences. I don't like to just have big explosions and, just mindless action. I like to have, don't get me wrong, I like my fair share of action, but I like good choreography to match the action sequences, so that way everything just, blends really well and it just feels very fluid and natural. And again, my God, just seeing Wonder Woman in action, not even the sequences where she's, coming out of that trench, but just that alley scene where she's blocking those bullets, fighting close range, hand-to-hand combat with those guys, looks amazing. And also, again, I think one thing that I really noticed is the humor in this trailer. And also also a bit of the first one as well, but in particular this one had a bit more humor. Now, whether that was some of the backlash because of Batman v Superman, and they added a bit more humor into Wonder Woman due to that, I'm not 100% sure if that was just already in the script. Regardless, I think, again, judging from the trailer, the humor works. It doesn't feel forced in, or it doesn't feel shoehorned in, it doesn't feel forced. It just felt very natural, some of the moments of levity in the trailer, which I think that's the key. You can't just force humor into the movie, and then it feels out of place. So again, I think this movie is going to have a great sense of adventure, action sequences, and also have its moments of levity. In particular, I think the moments with Etta Candy, which I loved her scene at the end of the first trailer and at the end of the second trailer as well, where she's talking to Diana in that dress. And I don't know, I think she's going to be the more kind of comic relief character. But as from what I understand of her in the comics, that's kind of what she is. She's just that kind of lovable, kind of comic relief character, and she was Wonder Woman's sidekick. Back in the early days of Wonder Woman's comics. So I was shocked actually that Etta Candy was going to be in this movie, but I'm very thrilled too, though. Like I think that's great that it looks like they're just fully embracing the comics, which is one thing that I will give the DC movies, even though I haven't been crazy about some of them, is that they do fully seem to be embracing the comic book elements with how just kind of bizarre and out there and at times even silly they can be. So I think that's a good thing for moving forward with the DC Cinematic Universe is don't be too dark and serious like Batman v Superman. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people where I'm like, oh, be more like a Marvel movie, be more fun, be more fun. Because of all the problems with Batman v Superman, the tone was at the very bottom. But I think the movie could have used more levity. Because I feel like it was a bit too dark and just kind of took itself a bit too seriously at times. And even in the comics, DC comics are typically a bit more darker than Marvel, but they still have a sense of fun or moments of levity where a character will have like a nice one-liner that kind of makes you chuckle or just kind of just a humorous moment. And that was something that was just drastically missing in Batman v Superman. It was just almost kind of beating you over the head with how dark and brooding it was, which for Batman that's perfectly fine. Batman he lends himself to dark and brooding. Superman, on the other hand, does not. But again, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think that's a good step moving forward to have a nice blend of those great acting sequences, dramatic moments, but also, again, have those moments of levity and just kind of embrace some of the more sillier aspects of comics. And I think that's, again, something that Marvel have been doing really well with their movies. And even DC have been doing really well with in the shows as well. In particular, Flash. So I think they are kind of moving in the right direction, and I really, really hope that Wonder Woman is the movie that just like knocks it out of the park and really redeems people's faith in DC. Because so many of us want DC to succeed. We want them to be as great as Marvel. And we want to continue living in this amazing golden age of comic book movies and TV shows and just amazing pop culture. And also, what better way for DC to kind of like hit their stride than with a solo Wonder Woman movie? A movie that I don't think anyone would have expected to happen. Is for as long as the Wonder Woman movie has been in development, for whatever reason, it just never happened until now. And I really, really do hope that this movie does well. Not just because I'm a fan of the comics, I'm a fan of Wonder Woman, but also because I think if this movie does well, then 10, 20 years from now, DC will reboot Wonder Woman again. And same with Aquaman, Flash, some of these other characters. Because we're obviously going to get Batman and Superman movies, no matter how terrible a Batman or Superman movie is. Because there's been a lot of bad Superman and Batman movies, and we keep getting more, which is fine. But Wonder Woman and Aquaman in particular are the two movies that I want to succeed so badly, so that way, no matter how long this DC Cinematic Universe lasts, whether it be, 15 more years or 5 years, however long, I want these movies to succeed, so that way we see more of them down the line, whether they be reboots or remakes, what have you. Also, isn't it about time we got a Wonder Woman movie? And I think I was very skeptical at first with Gal Gadot's acting in, just when I heard she was cast, because she was a former model, and most models don't make good actors or actresses. And there wasn't enough of her in Batman v Superman for me to properly kind of gauge her range, but based off what I saw in Batman v Superman, and based on the trailers that I've seen of her acting, I still wouldn't say she's great, but I think she'll be fine. I think she'll be fine in the movie. I think there's plenty of room for her to continue growing as an actress and get even better. So that's another thing that I look forward to, is seeing her headline her own movie and improve as an actress. Again, not that she's bad by any means. I haven't seen enough of her acting yet to really determine how good or bad she is. But from the little I have seen, I think she's perfectly adequate, and I think she'll do fine in this movie. But that wraps up this little trailer analysis. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And also, as always, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video or the topic of which we're discussing. Actually, I hit the mic. Feel free to like and share with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check us out on Facebook at Pacebell Productions to get news and updates and stuff like that when things are getting uploaded, or just topics for the next podcast or videos. Same with the Twitter page at Pacebell Pro. You can follow that for just the same information. Or you can follow me on my own personal Twitter page at Irishman Jake, and just we can talk comics or whatever. So until next time, everyone, cheers.